caused a lot of unsheathing of claws, and we get to hear the experts analysis, their own interpretation of some of these issues to help us intellectually edify ourselves, to have a different perspective for what we know, and possibly expand what we already know and think of other areas or other angles through which these issues could literally be looked into or considered. And obviously, most of the time when we have these conversations, you can never tell who is listening, because whether you like it or not, they listen and they implement what they listen. So it's quite vital that we continue to boomerang these issues, talk about it all the time, let them know that the people are aware, the people are following up what is going on. It's not like before where people just, go blinded or put a veil across their eyes and say, concern me, this time it's not my business, none of that concerns me, so long as my family is okay. No, it's affecting everybody. And if you look at these issues, politics affects every other segment of the Nigerian economy, and not just the Nigerian economy, economies outside the globe. In fact, politics is a deciding factor, whether you like it or not. A lot of things are conscripted. They think about how to create a sense of diversion, all right? And they know that the press will pick up the breadcrumbs and escalate it. And that becomes the modus operandi the following day. It becomes what forms the conversation. And then this guy sits back, take their drink or their wine, and watch the press do their thing while they get us distracted. So we must always look behind the stories than what we hear. That's the essence of what we do on the political spotlight. And that's the essence of having analysts of different capacities, different professional backgrounds, who give us different insights into how these issues unfold. My name is Esther Wachuku. The political spotlight officially commences. I want to say thank you for joining us. You can actually join us virtually on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. So if you want to be part of the conversation virtually, go onto YouTube, type 903 FM, and obviously you'll see us. We're currently streaming live, so you can send in your comments and tell us what you think based on the conversations we're going to have today and some of the political issues that we're going to be considering. And also, for those of you in Lagos, I'm sure you're beginning to feel the tang of Christmas. I know that things are not okay, people are unhappy, the economy is not friendly, and everybody is just trying to survive. But there's Hamatan. I mean, it's still hot though, but at least in Lagos it's just dust we're seeing, but at least you're not going to sweat. So if you finish working hard and you're sure working on the road, breeze will dry your sweat for you with the dust. So hello, compliments of the season to all of you. Christmas is getting very close, and 2025 is also getting very close. So for some of you who like to put up your New Year resolutions, I'm sure you're already doing that, and then giving yourself a review of how the year 2024 has been. I think towards the last Sunday of this year, we're going to look into that. How has your 2024 been, and what are the things you were able to accomplish this year? Were you like me, who was just on the expectant role, but some things that you expected would happen did not happen, and how did you feel afterwards? So we're going to look into that anyways towards the last Sunday of the political spotlight right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. So let's get on to business. Now, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has disclosed that the Department of State Services are not responsible for searching passengers' bags at airports. Now, Keyamo made this known during a television interview on a program today, being Sunday, this morning. And then, of course, he used the Lagos International Airport as an example. Keyamo said passengers enter through the arrival door and immediately encounter a screening machine for their bags. Keyamo said the bags are inspected at a joint inspection table after the screening, which causes congestion due to the lack of space. He said congestion often leads to blockages that extend to the entrance gates, but the ministry has dismantled the joint inspection table at airports. Now, according to the minister, DSS officials are meant to profile those traveling in and out of the country for security checks and not check passengers' bags. He explained that the agencies now work with aviation security and the screening machine to eliminate repetitive searches. But the story is not what we actually hear it to be now. What we hear about at the airport is that you have persons asking for handouts, financial handouts, or especially those who are returning from outside the country. They will say, "Oga, what do you bring for us? Oga, what do you get for us?" And these are the things Festus Keyamo, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, is trying to avoid. In fact, he said that the ministry now is going to be as transparent as possible to avoid all of those. And they sent a warning to those who are in charge of some of these units that if you conspire with those working under you and you give them a target to bring an amount of money to you every day based on how they collect whatever from passengers, doomsday is very close. So they are saying that they need to sanitize the corruption system in that sector, and that's the only way Nigeria will gain its reputation. Well, let's hope that this idea, all right, let's hope it works. Let's hope that a positive affirmation based on this reform actually works. It's quite important for that to take place. Now, another thing to also consider, whether we like it or not, we need to look at the situation with Are Afe Babalola and Dele Faritimi. The conversation still continues. I have a legal practitioner in the studio with me who will be giving us his insight on what he thinks about it. Now, there is a situation on ground concerning Are Afe Babalola and what's his name again? Rotimi, right? Dele Faritimi, yes, Dele Faritimi. Now, the situation on ground is this. People are asking that if Dele Faritimi does not have the evidence to prove, because they say he who alleges must prove. If he doesn't have evidence to prove all that he had written in his book, we're asking the big question, what then will happen? Because if the RF Afe Babalola is saying that he's using the criminal angle to try this matter, it's a fine of 2 years. And also the bail, I don't know what bail amount to be given. But in this case, Afe Babalola is saying that this man literally wants to derepute him. And Dele Faritimi did not just mention Afe Babalola. He's fighting the entire judicial system, the corruption in the system. He mentioned names. So you're going to have strong persons, strong judicial officers. They're going to unsheath their claws. They're going to, I don't know how they want to do it, but this is a very serious matter. Now, I don't know how they intend to resolve this, but Are Afe Babalola said on Friday that he will only be released once he's able to prove all that he wrote in the book. That's what he said. And remember that on Friday, 12 fresh charges were filed against Dele Faritimi. So, in other words, you have the Yoruba conglomerate sending messages and saying, you know what, this is our family members. Now our brother be this. Let's try and work together. Let's see how we can resolve this problem. You cannot use this kind of harsh method of intimidation to create harassment or, punish somebody that you consider to be your son. But a lot of people are saying this is not funny. So the Pan Yoruba Social Cultural and Social Political Organization, Afenifere, has urged Nigerians to permit the judicial system to fairly adjudicate the criminal defamation charges filed against a legal practitioner, Dele Faritimi, by the Nigerian police force. Now, these charges arose from a complaint submitted to the Ekiti Police Command by Chief Afe Babalola, a senior advocate of Nigeria and also a respected elder statesman, who claims that the content of the 104-page book titled Nigeria and Its Criminal Justice, authored by Faritimi, has defamed him. Now, Faritimi was apprehended in Lagos last week and subsequently transported to Ekiti. The complainant, Afe Babalola, who resides in Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State, contends that the book published by Faritimi, which has gained significant attention globally, is accessible in Ekiti State, thereby harming his reputation. Remember, people were asking, why did you all from Ekiti State come to Lagos to abduct this guy? Well, this is the reason he's given. Faritimi also, who is a well-known Nigerian activist, was presented before a magistrate court in Ado-Ekiti on Monday. The presiding judge, Magistrate Abayomi Adeosun, denied his request for bail and ordered his detention in prison until December 10. Now, his detention in prison until December 10, and just before December 10, 12 fresh charges have been filed against Dele. So I don't know if they really intend for him to be released on the 10th of this month. A segment of the Nigerian populace has organized plans for a large-scale protest in Lagos State, the Federal Capital Territory, and Ekiti State on December 10, advocating for his immediate release. Well, according to the National Publicity Secretary of Afenifere, Comrade Jare Ajayi, he said the legal system provides an opportunity for parties in a dispute to prove their cases. Afenifere firmly asserted that the interests of both parties, as well as those of the general public, must be safeguarded and justice administered impartially. Ajayi, in his statement, emphasized that the court is uniquely positioned to ascertain All right, the court is uniquely positioned to ascertain how these interests can be protected and to guarantee that the prosecution is carried out in a manner that is more effective and upholds the principles of justice. So they are urging all those involved to refrain from making statements or taking actions that could disrupt public order, while also calling upon the government to ensure strict adherence to the rule of law. The police also said they're not going to allow any protest on that particular day, because this is a case involving two individuals. Whether you look at it, whether it's a criminal or civil case, let the court take its course. But this is a major deal. Now, if this case goes on the way it is, and Dele Faretimi can provide evidence for all that he has said, this is going to be a major dismantling in what we used to understand, or the concept behind the Nigerian judicial system. In as much as we have several conspiracy theories as to the endemic corruption in the system, you now have verifiable cases, if Dele Faretimi can prove it, as to persons involved, instances all of this has happened. And then we now need to ask ourselves, what will the Nigerian Bar Association do about it if indeed all of these anomalies come to light? How will Nigerians trust the judicial system anymore if all of this comes to light? And then you know that elections normally are being determined by the court. So what then happens afterwards? Or, as usual, would Nigerians just bicker in social media and take it for what it is? Well, these are the things that we're considering, and we're also going to look at, because it's also important for us to understand the implications of some of the words used in that book, and how it indicts not just Are Afe Babalola, it indicts the Supreme Court, and big major judicial bigwigs were attacked in that book. How Dele intends to come out of this, we don't know. Will Nigerians be able to help him out of this quagmire? We do not know. But Dele Faretimi, I believe, must have been prepared for all of this happening now. Obviously, you cannot release such a bomb and expect it not to shatter and also boomerang. Obviously, you are prepared for the consequences of exposing the secrets behind this particular system that has padded itself conspicuously in such a manner that if you're not a legal practitioner, you may not even understand what goes behind bars or what goes on behind that particular sector. I want us to quickly take a brief listen to this particular conversation that was had recently by Kenneth Okonkwo, talking about the Nigerian police and also talking about the situation as well concerning the blockages in the Southeast and the tax reform bill. This was a press conference organized where he addressed all of this. So let's patiently listen to what he said, and it will help us in our context.
Rule of law is the effective and efficient application, implementation, interpretation, and enforcement of the law for peace, order, and good governance of the country. So there is a solution. If the president does what is wrong, let the law catch up with him. Lord Denning said, however high you are, the law is above you. If we practice rule of law rather than rule of man, then things will change. If we continue embarking on conferences, on ending conferences, are we not even ashamed? Every government that comes in will spend much more money doing conferences. Laws will come out of it. Communique will come out of it. Yet we are going down every day. Let us start implementing those things first.
With all humility. What it means is that the entire federation is not acquainted with the nuances of the new tax law. So I am in support of consultation. The constitution is very clear that the participation of the people in their government shall be guaranteed. Section 14, subsection 2. If the people do not understand what you want to do, explain to them for their understanding. You cannot be dictating things to people, because even your good intention can be evil spoken of if the people do not know what you're doing. The Southeast or their spokesperson. So I am, however, Southeast is part of the National Economic Council. So obviously, if you ask me, they are also part of the people that say you should withdraw it for more consultation. But I am not saying authoritatively for them.
Okay, sir. We are
The responsibility of any government is the security and welfare of the people. My take here is that the manufacturers are lamenting that these things they have enunciated here are part of their problems. And we're talking about frequent policy flip-flop. We are talking about macroeconomic instability, which is resulting in the volatility of the exchange rate. We're talking about astronomical energy costs, which is resulting in high price of electricity, high price of fuel. We're talking about high interest rates, 35% that you pay when you borrow money in a depressed economy. We're talking about multiple charges. You just heard somebody saying that even if you want to export, NAFDAC will tell you bring your certificate. You will still hear Standard Organization of Nigeria telling you bring your certificate. You will still have, and all these things cost money. They just told us that from Onitsha to Enugu, you have 30 checkpoints. And people are still sitting at home on Monday. That means they are not security enough if they come out on that day. The government should stand security enough if they come out on that day. The government should stand up and live up to the true meaning of its existence. Security and welfare of the people.
You just listened to Kenneth Okonkwo right there. You could hear him as usual passionately expressing himself. He talked about the tax reform bill, talked about the Nigerian police having to obey laws and not take laws into their hands, and also talked about the situation in the Southeast and the Southeasterners' reaction to the VAT reform bill that the president intends to implement within his administration. That is something we're going to be looking into as well. And we actually have, one particular audio that gets to verify or gives us a better concept of what the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike and Damagum are Tinubu's moles in the PDP. Damagum and Ayanwo had threatened to drag Adeyanju to court for civil and criminal litigation over the alleged defamatory remarks. However, in a letter dated December 6, Adeyanju's law firm, Deji Adeyanju and Partners, retracted the statement and apologized for any harm caused. The letter signed by Zainab Ortega stated that the statements were not intended to defame your clients. Ortega maintained that any perception of defamation in the said statements is regretted and withdrawn with apologies. Quite interesting. So you made such statements categorically and there was no evidence. So were you just vituperating for the sake of what? Praises? Were you just saying what you were saying just to get healed? Because you spoke adamantly, you spoke confidently, like you knew what you were saying, like you were in the room when they were serving the kilishi and serving tea. Like, really? So where does that place your integrity, your person, whenever you organize press conferences to make statements? Where does that place your personality? Where does that place your kind of... It's quite interesting because if you look at it, I don't know how to explain this. I have my lawyer actually, or will I say, a legal practitioner right here in the studio, and he's going to be giving us insight into all of this. Damilare, good evening and welcome to the Political Spotlight.
Good evening, Esther.
Compliments of the season to you.
Merry Christmas in advance.
In advance.
Yes, I don't worry, I'm your lawyer. I can be your lawyer for tonight.
All right. Yeah. Now, what do you think about the situation with Deji?
Deji Adeyanju. Well, you see, there's a problem with activism in Nigeria. 70% of the so-called activists just do it for clout.
For clout?
Yes.
So, did you hear what he said?
You see,
so if Damagum was to pursue this with force like RA is doing,
yes.
Are we saying now that this guy will enter jail?
You see, if
2 years.
If Damagum had taken up the matter, reported to the police and all that, today we will all be shouting freedom for Deji, free Deji. You see, there's a clear line between law and emotion.
Okay.
Emotionalism has nothing to do with the tenets of the law. The law is the law. The law is in black and white. It does not change. The positivist school of thought tells us that law is what it is, not what it ought to be. It is what it is. It is in black and white. Now, let me try to give a little bit of insight into what defamation is. Defamation is an untrue statement which the perpetrator issues concerning another person to to damage the reputation of that person. I'm just trying to use simple English. Now, this defamation can be published even in books, newspapers, or spoken words. And the only defense you have, how can you be free for you to be telling the truth?
Okay.
Prove that this thing you said is true. It's just that simple.
Okay.
And this is the sharp contrast between Deji Adeyanju and Mr. Farotimi.
Okay.
Because Mr. Farotimi's issue, that is like that's a ticking bomb. It's a time bomb. I still don't know. I still don't
know. Do we know if Deji was actually prepared for the consequences of this? Because not Deji, rather Dele Farotimi.
Well, Mr. Dele Farotimi is someone I respect a lot.
Because he couldn't have made all those statements without categorical
Even
facts.
the book is now best-selling book online now.
Obviously, we discussed that.
Ever since this issue came up, demand has spiked. Now, I don't know how he wants to do it because this issue have sent missiles everywhere. In his statement in the book, he attacked some judicial officers of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Even
Please, sir, continue. I'm so sorry. Some persons can be quite unprofessional, and it doesn't make any sense. Please continue.
So, Mr. Farotimi's statement in his book has sent a lot of missiles in the legal profession. Some judicial officers, a lot of judicial officers were mentioned in the book,
Yes.
and even other counsels, senior counsels, were mentioned. And Mr. Farotimi's reputation speaks for him. Up until now, he's been one of the few people whom I take serious when it comes to activism in Nigeria.
Okay.
And I still don't know how this is going to pan out. I still don't know how he's going to prove this. Because for you to prove this, it's a lot. It's a lot. And Mr. Afe Babalola Isingen is also a respected, a respected personality in the legal profession. This is a legend. That's how I see him. He's a legend. No, I really don't know what exactly happened. None of us know. There is Mr. Dele Farotimi's side. Then there is Leonard Afe Babalola's side, and it is for.
No, I read some of the excerpts of the book, and they were quite damning.
I did also.
They were quite
I did
damning.
also.
So a lot of proof needs to be done in that respect.
Yes.
And this tells a lot of things too. That a couple of popular politicians, including the president himself, have had insults hurled at him, have had defamatory, libelous comments and statements made at him, slanderous statements made at him. Not just him, Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar. Now, the angle Peter Obi is coming from is, if I am to begin to write court summons to everyone who has defamed me, libeled me, slandered me, then what happens? They have said a lot of defamatory comments.
I know,
terrible
but
statements. If you go on X, it's terrible.
But this is different.
But it's just that in this particular case, it's on a book. And you divulge secrets about an entire system.
It's not even about it being in a book. It's about a senior learned advocate.
No, let's not look about a senior learned advocate.
Let me explain this to you. Let me explain this to you.
Farotimi is not looking at senior
No, let me explain
Okay.
this to you. Let me explain this to you. Mr. Afe Babalola has trained SAN.
Okay.
Mr. Afe Babalola has trained justices. This is a man we all look up to. And the legal profession, we were trained to be ministers in the temple of justice. And for you to tell us a man who is a symbol of justice is not who we think him to be. So it is see this suit right here. It's not just about Mr. Dele Farotimi or the Leonard Silk. It's about every lawyer in Nigeria, every judicial office. See all those the libelious statement that we made. It goes beyond that to politicians. No. This is what matters. This is what matters. Mr. Farotimi in his book talking about how he used this word like that. Let us did some magic. He said we had some magic elves. He's bidding this and that, and these are strong allegations. And I'm really following this, and I really want to see how this pan out, because the outcome of this case right here will mirror the society we live in, and will tell us who is who. Tell us who is who.
All right, we now have a situation where a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress in Kano State, Ismail Ahmed, has stated that the ruling All Progressives Congress and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu would have easily lost the 2023 presidential election if the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi had united in the election. Now, Ahmed made this known in an interview on Mike on the podcast. You know who actually heads that podcast. And it was quite interesting because it's coming amid speculations about Peter Obi and Atiku forming a strong political party through a coalition to defeat President Tinubu in the 2027 elections. Well, asked if he is concerned about a possible opposition alliance, Ahmed responded in the affirmative, stating that God forbid the two opposition leaders come together in 2027. According to the Apton, he does not take potential threats as a joke, adding that the ruling party could lose the 2027 election if Atiku and Peter Obi unite. Now, do you think the ticket that was flown in 2019 for the People's Democratic Party, where you had Atiku, the flag bearer, and Peter Obi, the vice, do you think that it will win if it comes together again?
I think it will not. For them to win, they need Kwakwanso.
I don't understand. What do you mean by for them to win, they need Kwakwanso?
Thank you.
If you have an Atiku supposedly as the president, as of whatever, but then people are saying they don't want Peter Obi to become the same person he was in 2019, where he acted as a vice.
You see, I will say it again. Politics is a game of numbers. Elections is a game of numbers.
Okay.
Now, Peter Obi popularity between the pre-election and election period and now has grown. But what about Atiku's popularity? Has it grown? Not really. Let's look at it. But Kwakwanso has become more influential in the political game.
So are you suggesting a Kwankwaso and Peter Obi?
Kwankwaso, Atiku and Peter Obi.
How can three of them merge together?
Why not? What happened with APC?
Wait.
What
Are you
happened
talking
with
of a
APC?
political party or a party ticket?
I'm talking about a political party.
A political merging.
Yes. You see, what is
What
PDP?
this APC chieftain is referring to is if they come together to fight the APC, that is to oppose the APC at the 2027 general elections.
I'm giving a better option.
What I'm saying is, let's not even talk about the party merging.
Okay.
Let's talk about individuals. If an Atiku and Peter Obi are to come back, because that was the same flag the PDP actually flew in 2019.
Yeah.
If that same flag is to be flown in 2027, will it actually have any sway? Will it be a boomerang as it was as Peter Obi was in 2023 with Labour Party and the Obedient Movement?
Yeah, I believe so.
So if Peter Obi is a vice and Atiku is a president, you believe so?
You see, we're in a situation in Nigeria today where the people are beginning to see the light.
Let me tell you something. The Obedients are saying lie. It's either Peter Obi says he's not running in 2027 for him to say he wants to be the deputy to be the deputy to Atiku Abubakar, that they're not going to stay on that lane.
Wait till then. Just wait.
No, the Obedients were vehement.
Listen,
A lot of names are being called.
who is the leader?
Obedience.
Who is the leader of the Obedient?
For now, it's like the Obedients are just on their own because Peter Obi will tell you he's not the leader of the Obedients.
let me give you.
They're like a headless group of people. They are just all about true leadership. Anybody can be a Peter Obi in their case. I'm telling you, that's what their organization is all about.
In Nigeria now, there's only one Peter Obi. There's nobody else that can fill in that shoe.
Why?
Telling
Why
the
would you
truth.
say so? If
Give-
another leader, if another person comes and has a clean slate and they believe his mandate to
I have
deliver,
not seen that person.
I'm just trying to tell you that the obedience believe,
now-
right, that anybody of good conscience has a clean record can be a Peter Obi. To them, a Peter Obi doesn't necessarily have to be Peter Obi himself.
Esther, I tell you, when was the last time we saw this happen? A Peter Obi who does not really have much economic power, his influence in the political zones was not much, but via social media and the sheer will of young people who just want to change, and boom, he became
up.
a strong contender. Who else can pull that? No disrespect. Mr. Shore has been trying to do that for many years now. He has not even been able to pull one over 50 of the vote Peter Obi pulled. Let's give credit to where credit is due. If Peter Obi can go back to Atiku, you don't know how much it hurt me back then when he left Atiku. Even though I wanted him to be president, but I knew that Atiku has the north. You have the south. Together, you're an unbreakable force.
Well, a lot of people would disagree with you because once I open the phone lines now, you hear.
I know a lot of people would
disagreements in
disagree
that
with me,
regard.
but for me, I'm a mathematician when it comes to politics.
Okay.
And when it comes to Nigerian politics, we have to be realistic with ourselves. Do you even know most of the obedience don't vote? No, let's be.
What do
Most
you
of your. I was at polling units during the election. During this
Okay.
polling units.
Okay. Wait, what do you mean by most of the obedience don't vote?
Most of the obedient are keyboard warriors. Come for me.
Are you serious?
I know this.
What
is,
evidence do you have to prove this?
I
Because
mean,
you'll be sued to be taken to court.
I'm always on X, and we know ourselves when we say ourselves. We see. You see now, most obedience are within the age of, let's say, 18-20 to 30-35.
Okay.
You can check it, but look at the demographic of our voters. How many 20-year-olds do you see queue on election day? Everybody's at home, following whatever it is that is going on, posting videos, likes, share, retweets. To change Nigeria, you need to leave your house, go out on the street.
Okay, so why are you saying that? Is it based on recent elections after the general elections where the Labour Party was also part of it and you didn't see the obedience prove what they proved in 2023?
Well, the obedience are
Like
not.
you have the Edo State elections, you have the off-season elections with Bayelsa, Kogi State, and Imo State. There was a low record for the Labour Party in those areas, in those off-season elections.
I would like to say the obedience are not Labour Party
Party.
supporters.
Okay.
Let us get things straight.
Okay.
Everybody went behind Peter Obi because they actually wanted a change,
Okay.
not because they were in love with Labour Party, so to speak. Some people were even saying that Peter Obi was even encouraged to leave PDP as of that time when he could not get the presidential ticket.
Okay.
So obedience are not they are not political party fanatics.
Okay.
They believe in the dream of Peter Obi.
All right.
They believe in the man and they think he's the right man for the job. And I really salute their courage because this is the first time in decades in this country where I've seen a man
All right.
command loyalty of people without giving them anything. If you can remember, there was this thing going around there. We
In
know
fact,
the
the crowd
shishi.
was the one that contributed.
Exactly.
In fact,
I
secondary
know.
school children, I witnessed all of that. It was overwhelming.
I was in the north during the election. A colleague himself reached out to the campaign team of Peter Obi. Come to my state. Name of the state with us. Come to this state. Don't worry. Me, I will mobilize. This guy sacrificed months. Nobody gave him anything. He was the one. Let's do this. Let's do. And this is what happened in different states in this country, and that is what we want to see. And I'm telling you, APC have even made the job easier because now the hunger has increased, so the passion has increased. But I just hope the passion is backed up by action. Passion don't do things. You must be able to channel your passion.
True.
There must be a positive action, not just talk.
All right, but if you say so, like I said, if you say so, there was quite a lot of factors that emerged during the 2023 elections. But post 2023 elections, a couple of conservationists have arisen. I don't know if you've been following X to hear the conversations of those guys. And to them, they want to ensure that that thought force, that thunderbolt that emerged in 2023, that skyrocketed Peter Obi's fame, regardless of your tribe or religion or whatever, everybody just, thronged on that belief. They're trying to damage it. They're trying to mod it. And you now have a couple of Labour Party members who rode on the high horse of Peter Obi's fame at the time, who won their electoral seats, especially House of Rep members and National Assembly members, now defecting to the All Progressives Congress. So what does that tell you? Because they, with the way the Labour Party got weakened, seriously weakened, is no longer considered as one of the opposition political parties. A lot of people said that APC were the ones that divided the party, possibly because they wanted to ensure that the spine or the support base of Peter Obi is actually broken. Now, do you think all of this has actually created a dissent within the obedient movement, all right, whereby a lot of them may have dropped their support, the tempo, the energy that they had at the time in 2023 may have been lost because these individuals have been coming up with all forms of narrative and scripts. So you now see those who used to support in 2023, cross carpets to the APC. I'm talking about those online supporters that you referred to. And then to make it more obvious, or to make the evidence more tenable, you have these lawmakers who rode on Peter Obi's popularity, now APC members. Now, it's so bad that the Labour Party is really coming on hard and saying that their seats must be declared vacant, and then they should no longer, there should be a fresh election on those seats.
Okay, first of all, I would like to say this about the guys online. Okay, I don't want to be sued for defamation. So
Okay.
let me let me coordinate my words properly. I don't want to be like Deja, just so I won't. You see, I've witnessed a lot of this so-called online community being controlled by some powers.
Obviously.
So they don't matter.
Are you sure?
Oh, 100%.
But those kind of hate
No,
actually spreads.
You see, we are in a age
Okay. In an
where
age.
wisdom is no longer in the bedroom, it's now on the street. Wisdom is no longer concealed. The aroma of wisdom is everywhere. And for the guys that switch to APC and all that, let me tell you this. Number one, they are just opportunists.
Do you think
They
that
were
they were
just-
under pressure to defect?
Now, they only defected because that is who they are.
Are you sure?
Yes.
One of them
There were
kind
no
of
other
explained as to why they defected.
See, I don't even care an explanation they give.
Okay.
You are who you are by what you do. Peter Obi never actually campaigned for any of these guys, if you can remember. And Obedience only voted for them because how do we get APC? How do we out them?
Okay.
You know what? This thing we do in the nearest in meaning. Let's just give it to Labour. Obi is there. So it does not touch on Obi. It touch on the character of Nigerian politicians. It tells us who they are. And for those that defect, the provision of the constitution is clear, and Labour Party should do the needful. Just that simple. Do the needful. They will defected to other parties. The constitution says that you cannot do that unless your party, which sponsored you for the election, maybe dissolved or merged with another party which you are now a member. So Labour Party should just do the needful. Approach the court.
Approach the court?
Yes, it's just, you see, it's simple. You see, the problem with Labour Party was that, is that they don't have a proper structure. The fame was unexpected.
Exactly.
You see, when you
know how
don't
to handle
exactly,
it.
there was no spine. When you don't build, when you haven't built capacity, success can destroy you. Success is what is destroying Labour Party.
Wow.
You can see that all the time they have issues. I'm the chairman of the president. Why? Because they did not, in their wildest dream,
Realize.
imagine that Labour would be on
What
the
it
lips
was.
of Nigerians. And that brought out the greed in most of these men. That brought out who they really are.
Where?
So all of these, the obedience, that's who they are. Let
Right.
Obi say he wants to start a new political party today. Labour is the past. Just that simple.
All right. Let's take a listen to this APC chieftain who talked about the fact that the merging of Atiku and Peter Obi will be a major threat against Tinubu in 2027. I don't want to give my opinion, but I don't think it's going to have any effect, especially those combo.
That's why I think Kwakwaso should be brought on board too.
Kwankwaso.
Believe me, Atiku, Kwankwaso, Obi.
You're talking about the merging of political parties.
Yes.
I'm talking about a particular political party, whether they merge or not, but them having candidates representing that party in 2027 with the candidates of Peter Obi and Atiku flying the same flag,
And
which they flew in 2019
what I'm
under
saying
PDP.
is, just that won't be enough.
Okay.
You need another man who has a strong hold
All
in
right.
the north, which is Kwankwaso. And people believe in Kwankwaso.
All right.
Let me tell you the hierarchy now. It is Obi, Kwankwaso, then Atiku.
Really?
The common man who they believe in. Well, you know that Atiku's reputation is kind of tainted. OBJ versus Atiku.
Yes. That
But
is true.
because of the
And the book he wrote too. All right, let's take a listen to this APC chieftain giving us that narrative about the fact that it will be a dangerous combination if they both come on board. I see the president as someone riding unbothered on his ship and his plane. He's carrying on the ship, carrying on his boat, unbothered with what a lot of people are saying.
on his high horse.
Whether he's on a high horse or middle horse or low horse,
He's always-
the president seems very much unbothered. So let's listen to him.
If you look at the votes people in 2023, we could have easily lost the election if they were put together.
So it's a threat if both of them come together.
Of course it is.
God forbid they come together for the APC, isn't it?
Forbid.
But what do you do also for those who imagine that what you think God will forbid might eventually be the imminent political happening in Nigeria?
What do you mean by that?
Give an article 4 years, allow Peter Obi to come in, and not for 8 years.
I don't think anybody that comes into this presidency would gladly leave it after 4. They're all joking. They would want to do the full 8 because you would realize that so many things you put on the ground will probably not materialize in 4 years. You have to do the full 8, and that's where the problem is. God forbid that they come together. Let's just leave it at that.
Is that the reason why?
Not that it's a guarantee that they would defeat us. No, we'll probably defeat them. But what I'm saying is that as a politician, I know it's a threat. Without a doubt.
You heard that, right? Do you agree with him full square? Can you give me evidence to prove that? Okay, he says not that they would win, but he's saying that it will be a strong threat, a major threat.
It's correct.
He's correct.
They won't win. They won't win. But they're going to give APC a run for their money.
Okay.
I know you are still not on board with me, but please just drag Kwankwaso. You see,
You're talking about the merging of
yeah,
these guys
let
together,
Peter
forming a
Obi,
political party.
and Atiku, let them be the head of the snake.
Okay.
See, Kwankwaso is dogged. He's a dogged guy, and he has a part of the north. Atiku has another part
he
of the
also wants
north.
to ride. He also wants to be a flag bearer. So
There'll
he
be-
can't sit
there'll be
back
concession.
in support
No.
and watch Atiku again, because a lot of people now see Atiku as someone who just wants to get this position as president by all means. And when you have kept trying and trying and trying, you want to continue to try. They feel there's something that is there. It's for personal reasons. A lot of people would not see your unbiased notion to want to lead.
Okay, how many times did our ex-president Muhammad Buhari contest before he won? Even this guy Abraham Lincoln, he who we now use as motivation to ourselves now that if we fail this amount of times and let it see, if we can leave emotion aside, let us face the reality.
Okay.
We understand that we want Peter Obi to be the engine. A lot of people
Don't
want
say
him to
we
be
want to.
I said, that's why I'm
Unless
correcting
you
myself.
want.
A lot of people. so far now, he's still my guy. Now he's still my no, he's my guy.
Okay, he's your guy.
He's my guy.
Okay, now you're saying
He's
that
my
it's your
guy.
person here.
But even though he's my guy, that's what I'm saying. All this is because I wanted him to win the last election, but I knew he wasn't going to win.
In a way, sir, I thank God he didn't win.
I knew he wasn't
because
going
with
to win.
what is going on now, they would have heaped everything on him. They would have expected some kind of magic or miracle.
No.
Are you sure?
What
the
is-
criticism would have been out of the world. Like seriously.
The Nigeria we have today is a result of negative policies and actions.
Do you think that if Peter Obi was the president, would the end bad governance protest that took place, knowing the kind of person he is, he's not going to prevent anyone from going on a protest. He's not going to go through the route of slamming treasonable charges on some persons. Don't you think that some persons may have taken advantage of his sort of leniency, wanting that sense of democracy to be felt across board?
I will
Because
answer
this
your
is what a lot of people feel. For Kenneth Okonkwo, he has come out to say that dealing with Nigerian politics, you cannot be a gentleman, you cannot be nice, you cannot be meek. You need to be dogged, you need to be harsh, you need to grab it or snatch it, but not run away with it.
You see, this is why
that is the concept they feel, that's the kind of idea, that's the kind of political terrain that Nigeria understands and operates. And that's why City Boy utilized that, to his advantage.
Okay, let me say this.
Okay.
If you want to take I don't take him serious anyways.
You don't take who serious, Kenneth Okonkwo?
How many political party has he run to? You see,
so you think he's just a rabble rouser?
Okay, 3 years ago, was it this vocal?
No.
Exactly.
He was still studying law then.
So, I'm a lawyer. I'm not on TV every day. Mr. Faye Babalola is not on TV every day. You see, they are cloud chasers. I keep saying people. There are
you for real? Kenneth Okonkwo will see you for slander and calling him names that cannot be affirmed.
I better go. but really, you see, there are some people I don't take seriously because I've seen them over the years, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't listen to you.
All right.
For example, you were talking about the end governance.
Governance protest.
My question is, if let me use another candidate won the election, will we be having that protest? First question I want to ask.
What kind of candidate do you think?
I'm not mentioning.
Okay.
Imagine another. You see, how much was the exchange rate dollar to naira before this government came into power?
In fact, it now seems like the previous administration
You see, let me tell you what made me give up, or almost gave up, when America said our president is a CIA asset. I was like, oh my! People do not even understand that. I don't want to digress, but
yes,
I was like, oh my God, with what is happening in Senegal, Mali, Burkina Faso, those guys now have their own gold refinery. Like, I follow what their other African countries.
Did you hear that Burkina Faso dissolved their cabinet? The president, what's his name, Traore, did that.
Yeah, he has the power because he's a military.
No, I know. I'm telling you the ruggedness of the whole thing.
Yeah. So with everything they are doing now, our president is even now befriending the French government. Ooh. And we know the antecedent of the French government.
That's the fears a lot of people have about
do you know, for everywhere they go, there's always insecurity issues. For example, when there was a coup in Mali, they wanted to use Nigeria as the Ukraine of Africa to fight a proxy war with our neighbors in Niger. So, you see, that's why I'm asking you, do you think if another candidate had won, we'll be in this situation now? Let me even use something everybody can relate with. Do you know how much a ball of onion, small onion, cost? As a guy, we don't cook, we cook.
Let me tell you something.
If I just give me what said 200, I was like,
is that not what the tax reform bill intends to achieve?
The tax reform bill would not reform that.
You're very sure?
100%.
Okay.
Now
have you looked at it?
Now,
have you looked at it?
Now, I want to ask you a question. Our importation. What has the government done to ease that? We are bringing in, we are not a manufacturing country.
All right.
We are consumers. And, economy is not good. Why don't you just relax? The taxes, the levies there. No, you are not doing that. Subsidy.
That's true.
No. And electricity bills. And you think a tax reform law or act? No. I keep telling people, to know whether or not your government is working, don't read the news. Don't listen to nobody. Go to the market. Just walk on the street. Look at the faces of people. That's it. When was the last time you saw 10 naira? You saw. But
Miracle.
exactly. How much is a bottle of Coke?
No, don't even go there.
No, let's go there. Let's
something naira.
like I don't know. I'm just so
God.
angry this evening. So let's go anyway. Like there are days I just go crazy. Like where are we going in this country? The cost of living is increasing, but the income of people, it's like an intentional act to impoverish the people. So you don't come to me with sweet words. Oratory is not what we need.
That's true.
We don't need oratory. Now, let me ask you a question. Check 70 to 90% of our politicians. How many of them have ever done business outside politics? No, none. Okay, let me say none. Most of them haven't. And check how long they've been in politics. They can never leave.
That's true.
Because that's where the money is coming from. I think a tax reform bill will reform the economy. No. That's
All right.
not going to happen.
Okay, so apparently, let me take this before we open the phone lines. Ahead of Nigeria's 2027 presidential election, 15 governors have reportedly joined a coalition led by prominent opposition figures, which include Atiku, Peter Obi, Nasir El-Rufai. This coalition aims to unseat President Bola Tinubu and the ruling All Progressives Congress, and it is said to be gaining traction nationwide. Kelly Agaba, the coordinator of the Citizens Coalition, announced the formation of the alliance during a media briefing. According to Agaba, the coalition involves multiple political parties, associations, and influential stakeholders across Nigeria, united under a shared goal of fostering change in governance. So, apparently, this is his words. Absolutely, there's a coalition of parties and associations ongoing, and I can proudly say 15 governors are already involved. This is Agaba's statement. So, single individual wins an election alone. This coalition includes Northern APC stakeholders, and we are confident it will reduce the APC to a regional party by 2027. Agaba emphasized that the coalition strategy is rooted in building alliances based on equity and prioritizing policies that resonate with the electorate. He described the ongoing efforts as political evangelism aimed at fostering alignment and realignment amongst key regions and demographics. The coalition has reportedly made significant inroads in the southeast and south-south regions, with 70% of stakeholders in the north also showing interest. Now, in the southwest, at least 3 states are said to have embraced the idea. For the coalition to succeed, Agaba outlined several steps, which include structuring the alliance on equitable principles and presenting policies that address national concerns more effectively than the current administration. This development could reshape Nigeria's political landscape in the 2027 elections approach, potentially setting the stage for a highly competitive contest between the opposition coalition and the ruling APC. Do you think that is true?
Well, I think this is it's a good one actually. At least there's some movement, things are happening, but I'm not taking them serious.
Why?
Just yet, it's too early.
Okay.
It's too early. I want to see what will happen. And you see, money has not begun to change hands. When the election period is coming through, then you begin to see a lot of gymnastics.
Who are those playing the gymnastics?
Okay. Should I give you? Let me give you an example. You remember Wike? What Wike was doing the last time with meeting some governors outside Nigeria and everything. I'm just right now. Fingers crossed. I'm just going with the flow right now. I'm not taking nobody serious just yet. But it's nice to start early, but not taking them too serious just yet.
You're not taking them too serious?
Just yet.
Just yet. I think the essence is for grassroots mobilization to commence.
Yeah.
Create that sense of awareness in the minds of people. ahead of that period.
But there's something they are doing.
But do you think I've not heard Peter Obi say anything? I've not heard him show any form of alliance to any of these political parties. We've heard Atiku call for a merge. We've heard Kwankwaso call for a merge. In Kwankwaso's case, he's asking for a merge where he will be the presidential flag bearer. For now, Peter Obi has been working on his own with his obedient movement. If you've been seeing him being philanthropic, he's always been a philanthropist. But if you've been seeing him lately, he's been doing stuff on his own. No Labour Party, but with his obedient key members. So what does that tell you?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. This movement, it's Atiku and Obi.
There's Atiku, there's Obi, there's El Rufai.
There's Atiku, there's Obi.
There's El Rufai.
No, just let's peg it there. There's Atiku, there's Obi.
Some people are saying El Rufai and Peter Obi. Some people are saying,
Well, if El Rufai will come on board, that would be great, actually.
You think so? A lot of people may not really like El Rufai.
Yeah, he had done some
because of his past records. When he was the FCT minister in Abuja, as well as the Kaduna State governor too.
Oh, okay, let me know.
So that's the
But
thing.
then if he can come on board, just like as a backroom, not forefront. But now I love something they are doing.
What's that?
Focusing on the north, which was one of the issues the Obi had the last time.
Are you sure?
Yes, Obi, you see, I understand he got some parts, but you see, you have to infiltrate that place. Go there. Go into the hinterlands.
But do you think the president has proved that you don't need the north to be your deciding factor anymore?
See, the president is a master.
He was able to break a tradition where the north thinks that they are needed for certain things like elections to take place, to happen. And the president right now, with the way he's riding, it's almost against what the North had expected, against whatever agreement they supposedly had, maybe verbally, we don't know. Okay. We didn't see anything on paper. And they're the ones vituperating right now. And like I said, the president does not care.
Yeah,
he don't send anybody.
Did you see Zulum's interview? You see, imagine a situation where they not decide to vote for one man.
There are certain percentages needed from every region. So no matter how populated or supposedly populated, because we just have this idea that because they have more lands, all right, within their acquisition, so they determine the landscape or the posture for elections. But let's just say that they're the most populated, as we have conscripted them to be. What if it is just a certain percentage needed?
Yes, a certain percentage needed. But
how many states in the north actually gave the president the edge? How many states?
I'm trying to
compared to what Buhari had.
Here's what I'm saying. Let's an hypothetical situation where you can win the north. It's easy for Obi or Atiku or whoever to win. Let's say the southeast, the south. Okay. The southwest might be a little bit but go into the most difficult places early.
Okay.
I don't know if you get my point. Break the stones early. You can walk on the sand later. All right. Go to the most difficult places.
Now, in as much as we're looking ahead of the 2027 general elections, to break the mainstream or to break what we're really going through, possibly we'll feel that leadership will change the trajectory. At this moment, we need Nigerians to survive before then.
Well,
if there is no country, you won't have an election.
Nigerians will survive.
So if you have if you look at the fraction, if you want to do a factorial determinant of persons literally just hanging on a thread to exist, that's the big question. So in as much as politics is a mainstay, in as much as we're looking at conscriptions, conspiracy theories as to potential opponents that may unseat this political party or this current administration in 2027, which I have not seen yet, with how they have sunk themselves in every relevant sector.
Do you now understand? Do you now understand what went on in the elections in the states we've had this year? It is not just about getting the state.
Even at the local government level.
Yeah, it's not just about getting the state. You have to look at the bigger picture. Once they control the state, they control the results.
So that's why I'm asking. I said, I don't know yet what opposition will emerge and when that opposition will emerge. But with what I am seeing, it's going to be a very tough call. But then, like I said, we need a thriving population before 2027. when you have insecurity on the rise, when you have the judicial system that people cannot trust to give fair and balanced convictions on persons or on cases, when you have stable economic sectors or viable economic sectors that are not benefiting the common man, when you have multinational companies shutting down because of the harsh economic conditions, bedeviling Nigeria, in as much as we say that the president is trying hard, because the president has said that things are improving, that we may not see it, but that things are actually improving. So for the president to say that, I don't know from what angle he's seeing the changes and the improvement, but he's telling us that the improvement and the changes are obvious. That, meaning Nigerians, be patient, it will soon get to you, you'll begin to see the changes. And then you talk about the tax reform, you say the tax reform will help. The reason why I said you should hold on that thought, because you said you don't believe on that tax reform business. You feel that on paper it may look pretty or seems pretty, but that's not what it is. Well, let's listen to this, because in 2019, during his colloquium, during his birthday, the president actually said something to Professor Yemi Osinbajo at the time in his advice on how they could handle the economy. Let's just listen quickly to that reaction.
And this is where I will stop and appeal to Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the Vice President, and his team. Put a huge question mark on any increase on VAT. Please. If we reduce the purchasing power of the people, we can further slow down the economy. Let's widen the tax net. Those who are not paying now, if it is inclusive of Bola Tinubu, let the nets get bigger and we'll take in more taxes, and that is what we must do in the country instead of additional layer of taxes.
So this was the president in 2019 opposing the tax at the time, VAT increase in 2019. And here you are almost proposing the same thing in your tax reform. So what does this say about his idea and his, advice to the vice president at the time, and now doing what he had actually told them to go against, so not to do?
Okay. It's just I don't even. I'm trying to find the words. I'm trying to find.
So that they will not slander you. They will not come and meet you and say you
see, in Yoruba we call tax.
Okay. Okay.
It's like a levy everybody pays.
Okay.
It's like the tithe you pay to the government.
All right.
Now, the government is supposed to use the taxpayers' money to run the country, isn't it?
Okay.
Now, once the government is no longer using my money for me, but for the players in government to better themselves, is the government not just a thieving agent?
Damn.
Let
me take phone calls now because it's already 8:08 and
Okay.
it's interactive program. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. Austin, kindly help me with the phone. 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call. And obviously, I can see you're already sending your WhatsApp messages. The WhatsApp message, or rather, the WhatsApp number is 0817 1756 338. 0817 1756 338. Thank you very much. 0817 1756 338. That's the WhatsApp number. We already have our callers calling in. Thank you so much for being part of the conversation on the Political Spotlight. Good evening and welcome. How are you?
Yeah. My name is Innocent. I'm calling from Amu of Face
All right,
State.
Innocent, please go ahead, please.
Please, I want to say, yes, you people have done very well analysis for the politics of Nigeria. The problem is, there's what you also interpret there, that these current people are having 15 states. And we know we have 36 states in Nigeria. If
Which current people are having 15 states, sir?
Money have not changed hands. If your money changes
Which
hands,
current people are having 15
3
states?
or 4 maybe somehow join us and in APC. So what am I trying to say?
Okay.
Those who doesn't know book, you always go school early. So it's like these politicians are trying to learn.
Okay.
If they want to learn, they should come down and learn. Because this man you see as correctly, in life, every mistake have a punishment.
Okay.
Obi and the Atiku have made mistakes 2020 not to match. If they are matched,
Not
they may take
2023,
over.
2019. Go ahead,
No,
please.
no. I said they have made a mistake.
Okay. Not to merge
Not to
in
match.
2023.
Yes.
Oh,
And that
okay.
mistake now have a punishment. The punishment that even if Atiku, Obi, Kwankwaso, Erofai join together 2027, they will only make us APC to spend more money. But are they going to win? The answer is no. They can never.
So
win
what do you
Alhaji
suggest?
Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
What do you propose?
So what I think if they can do now is one thing. Let them arrange themselves. Atiku for president, Obi for vice. Whatever they are arranging, let them arrange. Maybe after 4 years, let them put the agreement down. After Atiku rule 4 years, Obi will take over. And when Obi wants to take over, Kwankwaso may be the vice of Obi. After 4 years, Atiku. If Kwankwaso is the vice president of Obi, will go for 8 years. After Obi, Kwankwaso take over as the president also. If they can. I'm telling you the truth.
Okay.
And again, for Dele, let him think very, very well. Even if what he's wrote in his book is true, he cannot be able to prove it. He cannot be able to prove it. So the best way we advise him as a young man that he wants to, so I like his Dele himself. Let him look where Wike is today. If that is people that singing downfall of APC before, let him know where Wike is. Daniel Barala, let the former speaker of Atiku, let him see where he's standing. And also what they call the other man now, this aviation minister. That current aviation minister. You know, that is people that are always against this thing. So I will advise Dele to know how he's going to manage to come back to APC. That is where he will be relaxed. That is where we be. His voice is very sweet.
I understand what he's saying.
And we are waiting for him 2027. This place he is now. We bring him on board. This place is here. He's going to bring him on board 2027. Just watch out. Watch out.
Thank you. I understand what he's saying. If you join the APC train, all your sins are forgiven. That's what he's trying to say.
Imagine if Dele join forces with the obedient.
No, but Dele is an obedient.
No. This Dele, not that Dele. You see,
what do you mean by this Dele?
With what is going on now is popularity.
No, Deji and Are actually Peter Obi supporters.
I know. You see, Dele Farotimi of today is not the Dele Farotimi of last year.
Okay, hello.
His popularity has gone up.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Name and location, please.
My name is Comrade Iroko from Ejigo.
All right, comrade, go ahead.
God bless you for doing this for Nigerians. So,
go ahead, sir.
It will not be easy for Yalata in the market to understand all the English we are saying in this program. But as a Nigerian and as a citizen of this country and also a taxpayer, that government are benefiting from the tax from the masses. Let me say something about the tax reform.
Okay, sir.
Any tax that government wants to do that will never benefit any masses, it should not be implemented, number one. But my problem is that the Nigerian citizens that are supposed to fight against this unnecessary suggestion by government are not rising up to their assistance. Because if you are talking about judiciary, they're supposed to be the last hope of a common
man.
Yes, are doing this for the masses. Who are we going to cry to? The next thing for the masses is to try and wake up from their slumber. Time are going on. Things are happening. People are dying every day. We are on subsidy. Now we want to go to tax reform by our own tax payers' money. No problem. Masses should continue want to be died at mass to be buried by mass burial. If they choose to be that, they should keep silent.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. Good evening. How are you?
Hello, Esther. Good evening.
Ben from Iba. How are you, Ben? Compliments.
Fine, my sister. Good evening. The lawyer, he spoke very well.
He spoke very well, Abi.
Did a great job.
All right, sir. Go ahead.
Well. Everybody is entitled to his opinion.
Yes, sir. Hello?
We are doing a great job.
Okay, thank you, Ben, sir.
This tax reform, it's all about the private sector that will collect the tax. You understand? They want to centralize the whole thing from local government everywhere. Do you know what it means? Import duty, it is a private body that will be collecting it from airports, from NMTC, from the whole refineries, from the network providers, MTN, Glo, Airtel, all of them, cable people, from social media, all the whole tax, anywhere like tax is in the local government, the state, everywhere. The governors will not collect again. Local government will not collect. Everything will be centralized.
Wow.
Like a private sector, we don't know the name. The cost consultant, they have never mentioned that. It's like a masquerade. You understand my point? So they will not collect everything. Now, who will checkmate them? If they collect like 60 trillion and tell you that it's 30 trillion, will you know?
That's true.
If they tell you that their percentage is 30%, will you know? It is not all about that. It's a very beautiful reform. But this particular clause there is very dangerous. And that will make it the worst bill that has ever been passed in this country. The worst policy.
And Akpabio has told us that whether we like it or not, the bill will be passed.
Those are the people you voted.
You are giving this week for public hearing and for them to address the grey heads that are in need. So I believe they will make amendment. They will remove that which we are associating to the alphabet that will collect the whole tax.
But that tax guy has said that it's not alphabet.
Free will, go cement. You know how much? Everything all over the nation. Well, concerning judiciary.
Yes.
We are talking of this man bringing which evidence are we expecting to bring? We saying that it's difficult for us to bring evidence against judiciary. Didn't you hear when the president of our court after the 2023 election said that lawyers are inducing judges all over the nation, dollars are flying everywhere? Is it not the president of that said when Buhari took over, didn't Buhari send years to the houses of the judicial judges? Didn't they discover dollars? Didn't we see the chief judge in overseas on a wheelchair? What did the chief judge, this present chief judge now, what did she say? Didn't she suspect how many judges, 4 judges in the country?
But you know these guys will not bend over. You know they won't bend over. Because he indicted all of them.
I want you to know that these judges, they are guilty. Yeah, they are guilty. All what they do is in public domain. They cannot say that this man doesn't have evidence to prove. Evidence are everywhere. Our judges are corrupt. Even if he will be councillor, that will make him to see this government because if you see the rate people are dying now.
I'm telling you.
They say that cemetery now. They are not accepting dead bodies in the cemetery. Doctors are saying that dead people are more than patients. Mortuary. People are like that, dead body everywhere. And this one has done only 1 year, 6 months. So people are dying out of hunger, hardship.
I'm telling you.
We're on medical line now and they cannot treat themselves. The other people that are dying. People are negotiating
Thank you very much. See, it's so bad that all the institutions, I don't know, it's like they are wired to frustrate Nigerians. The banking institution now, that one is worse. You will make transactions, they will debit you. The recipient will not get it. Let me give you a live example. On Wednesday morning, 7 o'clock, I was okay. At 11 a.m., I was in Arjolat Hospital emergency ward. I'm not joking with you. Emergency ward. I couldn't walk. I was placed on a stretcher, taken on the ambulance to the emergency ward. Thank God it was Arjolat. It was a private hospital and not a government hospital. Because there, I don't know how to explain it to you. And they immediately started going about the treatment. Thank God. That hospital at that moment, they saved my life. It was now time for my mom to pay the bill. Obviously, where I was, I couldn't talk. I was still, because I said I was not going to sleep over in the hospital. So by 8 p.m., I was okay. They'd given me almost 4 drips. They'd given me drugs. So what was wrong with me? The emergency had already dissolved. Thank God. So to pay the money left the the person that sent the transfers account. So for the money to reflect in her account, reflects. When and they will not release you until you have been paid. That money did not reflect. Up until the following day, that money did not reflect. She now came to meet me. I said, what happened? She was, and I said, okay, you know what? Try this other bank. And thank God I had up to the amount for that particular, in that other account. Institutions like this that Nigerians rely on, will fail them at a critical time. So I don't understand how this works. But God help us. I'm telling you. Hello, good evening. Hello. All right, that's a drop call. 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello. We're having drop calls now, so let me take some WhatsApp messages. It's quite unfortunate. I think that's the network there already showing itself. Remember me, I just tell you. Oh, Allah. All right, let me take some messages. Good evening. Hello, Estik. Corruption starts as a seed. It grows until it becomes a tree and develops branches and eventually a forest with multiplicity of diverse living creatures of all kinds, shapes, and shades. Why is Keyamo talking about corruption? What happened to all the uncivilized actions pointing to him that led to why he was being refused denominated for the second term? He should clean up the mess and not call for public opinion on gratification being practiced at the airport until all these evil men are flushed out by putting to work all the suggestions and research conducted for the betterment of Nigeria. Good evening, my name is Mr. Olajester. Thank you, Mr. Olajester. About 2027, what Nigerians are looking for is not just about grabbing power, but someone who can lead Nigeria aright. And Nigerians did just that in 2023. Obi won the election clean and clear, and the whole world, including APC, knows it. And so we do not need the alignment of strange bedfellows, as your guest is suggesting. What we need now is for electoral reforms to fully come to place. Morgan Nwaguma Meiron. All right, Morgan. Good evening, Esther and your guest. Please, this issue of Afe Babalola and Farotimi, I'm very much interested. I believe it will open a can of worms. Respect to Afe Babalola, but if there is anywhere he must have soiled his hands, which has affected our judiciary, it should be exposed irrespective of his level or contribution in law. We all know how rotten our judiciary is today. It started somewhere by some people. They have to be exposed. That's my position. Daniel from Agege. Good evening, Esther. You people are doing well, but I don't like the way you addressed or described those who won election in Labour Party who are not that popular, now defected to another party as nobody. I did not refer to them as nobodies. Did you call them nobodies? Or you were referring to the fact that nobody knew them before the 2023 elections when they won?
I guess she got it all wrong.
Oh, okay.
She got it all wrong. I did not refer to them as nobodies.
All right. Okay. Good evening, moderator and the analyst in the studios. Yes, let's assume by law that Dele Farotimi has made derogatory remarks about Pa Afe Babalola. Is that enough to keep him in prison, not grant bail? I think he, Farotimi, should have been allowed to defend himself in court. Besides, did I hear someone say that Pa Afe Babalola's name is robbed in the molds by Farotimi? My question is, where were Pa Afe Babalola and other sons when the Nigerian judiciary was being gifted undeserved gifts such as cars, buildings, and 300% increments on their salaries that bred corruption in the entire Nigerian judiciary? Who answers these questions? To me, the Nigerian judiciary is solely the one who defamed itself. Please, Tinubu should set Mazi Kanu free. Egege from Agege. Thank you, Egege. Evening, Esther. There is a saying. When a purpose of a thing is not known, abuse or misuse is inevitable. Since this government came into power, waste is the order of the day. While they tell you Nigerians to tighten your belt and they live a luxurious lifestyle and wasteful traveling, they turn the people to beggars and almajiri in the midst of plenty through their obnoxious policies. Nigerian situation is putting an Agbara in a vote of a central bank or to run a multinational corporation. It will run it aground. I want to ask, are we in democracy or autocracy or feudalism? Now, Dele Farotimi, a human rights advocate, abuses and intimidated using police conspiracy and cash and carry judiciary. It shows that this government wants to enslave and put Nigerians in a box for Nigerians not to fight for their rights. This government should be charged toward court for violation of human rights, harassment and bullying. It's a shame the worst of us is ruining the best of us. Truly, there was a country. Dio from Fagba. Dio can write. Dio can write. He's very good with putting his words together on paper or in this case on WhatsApp. Okay. My name is not Shoma. My name is Esther. So, good evening, Esther. When you talk about North, did the entire Northeast, North Central, and Northwest vote for Tinubu? Everything about North is about Northwest. Please read and do the statistics and come up with the figures. Emeka from Abeson Estate. Thank you, Emeka. Good evening, VOP. I don't think Mr. Pat, President, and his machineries will be able to stand the force that will come from Obi, Atiku, and Kwankwaso come 2027 election. I'm Samuel from Ikontwegwe. Thank you, Samuel. Esther and your guests in the studio, I greet you fundamentally. I know that in politics, 3 years is very short, and that's why I'm not surprised about all the different political permutations. But for me, I dare request that Peter Obi shouldn't play second fiddle to anyone. He made history in the last general election. No opposition party has ever won Lagos, even OBJ in all his 8 years. Anyone wishing to align with Obi should deputize Obi, and definitely not Atiku because he has been a VP for 8 years. Esther, I love former President Goodluck Jonathan so much that if it was allowed by our constitution for someone to be president for as many times as possible, I will keep voting him. But you see, this 2027 presidential election, I strongly advise him not to come out so that they don't rubbish his name and spoil his reputation. He shouldn't be deceived. In any case, we don't need any of those old politicians like Kwankwaso, Arafai, Atiku, or even the current president. We need fresh blood like you, Esther, or your guest, James Ogbonna from Oshodi. James, good evening, Esther and the analyst. It's very unfortunate, painful, regrettable, and shameful that APC members like Innocent should be talking of retaining power beyond 2027, not considering the magnitude of damages they have done to Nigerians. APC is joking and will be surprised in 2027. Thanks. Sydney from Ejigbo. All right, Sydney, thank you. Good evening. Okay, I'm not there. I'm not the one. Okay, this message is it for me? Okay. Good evening, Esther and the guests. The tale of wars of Nigeria is never ending. Every day the wars keeps happening until the Southeast is allowed to feel a sense of belonging in this nation. Karma will continue to haunt Nigeria. Everyone sees how Igbos are being treated, yet see nothing bad in it. Peter Obi is shining example of a detribalized leader. Okay, good evening, Esther, discussants, and VOP family. Peter Obi said any country where politicians are richer than private businesses, that country can't move forward. Amechi from Mafoluku. Good evening, Esther, and your guest. The man that just called is an APC man. Did he think that he will survive 8 years with this administration? Let the opposition parties unite. The present government has failed. Their bad policies has drawn the campaign for the opposition parties, and it's for them to use it as an advantage to take over the power. Chikezie from Ago. All right, good evening, Esther. Oh, wow. Let me see. This is too long. Oh, no, Diary, I've just read your message. I can't take it again. Esther, dear, thank God for your health. Please help us to shout the words, Pharaoh, let my people go. Udechiku Emmanuel from Ejigbo. Thank you, Udechiku. Good evening, Esther, your guest in the studio. This is Jude from Ajari State. Look at Burkina Faso and see how well their economy is doing. Nigerians need to take a firm decision to get the desired change we're all clamoring for. My 2 cents. Thank you for that message. Hello, good evening. How are you? Thank you for joining us on the Political Spotlight. What is your name and your location? Hello.
This is Remy from.
Remy, how are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I am fine. Thank you so much.
Good evening to your guest.
Good evening.
I agree with some things he said, and I disagree with some of the things he said.
Very good.
Okay, let me go with the one he said that I'm against.
Okay.
He said obedience don't vote. That is untrue. Obi won 12 states. So who were those who voted for him? They were not ghosts. He won 12 states just at Tinubu and Atiku. Two, he said he said that obedient are only keypad warriors. That's untrue.
Flog him.
You don't
Flog him
have
very well. Flog him.
You don't have the fact. I thought we were going to spill off facts, but it was just mere conjecture.
No, he said he was. Oh, he's also an ex, so he knows what he's saying.
Obi won 12 states, including River State, which was declared for someone else. That is a fact. So obviously someone won 13 states, not even 12, which was confirmed by BBC and other private bodies. Okay. He won River State. So those were not keypad warriors. Third one, he said some of us we're all looking up to Afe Babala. I'm not one of them. That's untrue too.
No, are you sure? He didn't say that. He said lawyers. He said lawyers. He said lawyers.
Okay, lawyers.
I mean, as lawyers.
No.
Okay. Because he really trained a lot of them.
Okay, good. What Parotimi said about Babalola, is it not playing out now? Are they not all playing out now? So I'm to ask you guys. You said Parotimi said some things against the judiciary. Are we all saying we've never heard it before? That he just said it. he said that institution was corrupt. Even didn't fall. The last CGN, what's his name?
Ariwala.
Ariwala said the same thing. Even didn't fall. Boka Chua told the whole world.
Sure.
Nobody, the media didn't say it was defamatory. They didn't call for his head. Though. In Northern even was on a particular show that he mentioned. He was referring to what's his name? Afa Babalola influencing a particular case. So trying to this narrative that what Faritumi said is as if it's new to us, it's kind of hypocritical of us. Are you saying we are just hearing that institution is corrupt? We are hearing it on daily basis.
Well, it's just because he was categorical in the names he mentioned, and these guys with the names and the reputation they have, they won't sheet their clothes or they're unsheathing it.
If I'm to ask who determines defamation, it is the court, not you and I, not Afe Babalola's counsel that we're saying is going to be released until you proves the.
All right, Remy, I need to take all other calls. All right.
Lastly, it shows that they are even the judge and jury in that case for those legal counsel to say that openly that they are going to release him when it proves the case.
When he brings evidence to prove in all the things he said in the book.
Court, should they be the one saying that? Is it not the court that should be saying that?
All right, Remy, thank you. All right, thank you. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello,
good evening. I'm so sorry. I'm fine, sir. Good evening, sir. Name and location, please.
Good evening, Jeff.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, I'm so impressed in your analysis. I am Deep Prince calling.
All right, thank you, sir.
I just want to say only one thing. You are talking about banking sector, isn't it?
Yes, I mentioned the banking sector.
See, the criminalities that are going in banking sector,
I'm telling you,
is higher than the high heaven. As I'm talking to you. And let me just tell you one thing. Without banking sector, we can't fight insurgents in this nation. Let me tell you one thing. 70% of the practices of insurgents are passed through our banking sectors. I don't want to say it much on air, but I just want to pinpoint on it. If it didn't happen to you now, you will not believe what is going on.
It's been happening. It's just that the sum is more. The sum was more, and it was an emergency. And up till now, they haven't refunded the money.
Yes,
it's actually GT Bank I'm calling out here. GT Bank. Up till now, the money has not been refunded. So they will take your money. They will wait for you to go and make complaints. If you don't make complaints, that money is gone.
See, not only GT Bank. If I begin to mention some of them now, whenever I enter into them, they call me bad market. Why? Because whenever I enter into their issue, they know I don't carry come. In fact, if it is early in the morning, they know that week I will try to waste it with them. They know. See, if it is humongous amount of money that all these insurgents are perpetrating, that money will go swiftly to the bank without you even having a hold up or a traffic. But let me just tell you one thing. We have been telling federal government concerning our commercial banks, our banks. These are the passage. These are the people that have been helping these insurgents to their climate.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you for calling. That call has dropped. What's your final take? We need to wrap up the program now.
Well, I want to say something concerning Dele Fagojumi's case and Afe Babalola. I think some of our callers, they didn't get some facts right.
Okay.
So now, the matter is before the court, and defamation is a crime under our criminal code. In Nigeria. So the arrest, I will tell you, it's legal.
All right.
It's legal.
All right.
The
it's
arrest,
legit.
It's legit.
Okay.
It's legit. Now, should Dele Rotimi be released and be refused bail? That is the question. I think he should have been released on bail. That is it.
All right.
He didn't commit murder or any capital punishment.
All right, thank you
And-
very
okay.
much, Dami. We need to wrap
You're
up now.
cutting me
We
off.
have a program coming up. As you can
I
see.
know, I was just joking.
All right, we've actually wrapped up. Thank you so much for those of you who actually sent your messages and called. I'm so sorry that I can't take more of your calls or read out more of your messages. We have a program coming up immediately. I've taken more than the desired time. Follow me on YouTube at Estiq Media on YouTube, ESTIQMEDIA. Subscribe to the channel. Let's create that. Do have yourselves a wonderful evening. See you next week.